What's up, y'all? It's your boy, y'all's chosen one, Kum Masha Allah. To all my Israelites, man. To all my Israelites, man. Love you guys so much. Love you guys so much for getting the word. Keep getting it each and every day. Uh, we're going to go to the book of Jasher. We're on chapter 18. Um, this book mainly focuses on the beginnings of chapter 17, the book of Genesis, and pretty much goes into some deeds of the Sodomites and Gomorrahites. Now, think about it. This has nothing to do. This has straight up to do with these Hamites, man. These straight up to do with these Africans, man. This doggone things that these sick freaking Africans were doing. Little nasty Africans, man. White swapping African. You're gonna see everything these nasty people were doing, man. And you want to be a freaking Egyptologist. Freaking idiots. Alright, so we're in Jasher chapter 18, we're in verse 4. Well, we'll go to verse 3. And on the third day, Abraham went out of his tent and sat at the door to enjoy the heat of the sun during the pain of his flesh. Because remember, he had just got circumcised, right? And Yah appeared to him in the plain of Mamre and sent 3 of his ministering Maliks to visit him. And he was sitting at the door of the tent. And he lifted his eyes and saw, and lo, 3 men were coming from a distance. And he arose and ran to meet them, and he bowed down to them and brought them into his house. So that's in Genesis 18, verse 2. And he said to them, if now I have found favor in your sight, turn in and eat a morsel of bread. And he pressed them, and they turned in, and he gave them water, and they washed their feet. And he placed them under a tree at the door of the tent, so they can have some shade. This is in Genesis 18, verse 3 and 4. And Abraham ran and took a calf, tender and good, and he hastened to kill it, and gave it to his servant Eleazar to dress. Remember, it said it gave it to a lad in Genesis, but now we know it was Eleazar, verse 5, 18, verse 5. That's Genesis 18:5. All right. And Abraham came to Sarah into the tent, and he said to her, make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes to cover the pot containing the meat. And she did so. So she was making this food. Genesis 18:6. And Abraham hastened and brought before them butter and milk, beef and mouton, and gave it before them to eat before the flesh of the calf was sufficiently done, and they did eat. Genesis 18, verse 8. Now, this tells me a little something about Maliks, man. Malakim can take the form of anything, man. We see that right now they're disguised as humans. See that? As humans. And when they had done, because you never know who you might invite into your house. You may entertain angels at any time. That's what the Most High said. You can entertain them at any time. And when they had done eating, one of them said to him, I will return to thee according to the time of life, and Sarah thy wife shall have a son. That's in Genesis 18, verse 10. Now we're going to get to Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so Jasher quickly, abruptly ends that right there. So we know what happened. We know Sarah is going to be blessed. She laughs and everything. So now we're going to go into what's going on in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? In those days, all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, and of the whole 5 cities, were exceedingly wicked and sinful against Yah. And they provoke Yah with their abominations, and they strengthen in aging abominably and scornfully before Yah. And their wickedness and crimes were in those days great before Yah. So not only did, but they was doing this knowingly that Yah was against this. They knew they knew the power of the Hebrews, man. They knew that. But they was doing their own thing. These were things, even if they wasn't praising Yah, these are things in humanity was just wicked. Let's see what they was doing. And they had in their land a very extensive valley, about half a day's walk. And in it there were fountains of water and a great deal of herbage surrounding the water. Half a day walk. This was an extensive valley, about a half day of walk. And they had these probably beautiful, beautiful fountains in the midst of it, right? And all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah went there 4 times a year, probably the beginning of spring, beginning of summer, beginning of fall, beginning of winter, with their wives and children, and all belonging to them, and they rejoiced there with timbrels and dances. So they had their wives, they had their kids, they were rejoicing like every season that came, because 4 times it has to be every beginning of the season that they came up, they would go down to this valley and they would have this festival. You know what I'm saying? And in the time of rejoicing, they would all rise and lay hold of their neighbors' wives, wife swapping, you get it? And some, the virgin daughters of their neighbors, and they enjoyed them. Enjoying them mean they was having sex, orgies, they was having all kinds of stuff, man. And each man saw his wife and daughter in the hands of his neighbor and did not say a word. They saw him doing this wife swapping, you know what I'm saying? They was like, yeah, go get it, you know? And I see some Hebrews today doing according to what these Hamites were doing. You know what I'm saying? They were doing the same wife swapping orgy stuff that was going on right here. This is an abomination to the Most High. This is what they was doing, man. And they did so from morning to night. They did this all day long. And they afterward returned home, each man to his house, and each woman to her tent. So they always did 4 times in a year. At the beginning of every season, they would do this. They would come down, probably some nasty pagan Hamite ritual, praising the seasons, to bring in the season. They had these wicked orgy fests, opening themselves up to spirits and stuff. And that's Hamite culture. And you want to be part of Egypt. You want to be part of Africa. The hell with a Hamite, man. Also, when a stranger came into their cities and brought goods which he had purchased with a view to dispose of there, the people of the cities would assemble, men, women, and children, young and old, and go to the man and take his goods by force, giving a little to each man until there was an end to all the goods of the owner which he had brought into the land. So they would go down there, gangster this man's stuff, take all his goods, and then like nothing ever happened. Wait a minute. And if the owner of the goods quarreled with them, saying, what is this work which you have done to me? Then they would approach to him one by one, and each would show him the little which he took, and taunt him, saying, I only took that little which thou didst give me. And when he heard this from them all, he would arise and go from them in sorrow and bitterness of soul, when they would all arise and go after him, and drive him out of the city with great noise and tumult. So not only did they gangster this, they stole his stuff. Then while he was there, when he wanted to bring justice against them, they would show the stuff that they stole and say, "Y'all, you gave this to me. You gave this to me. Nah, you gave this to me." And then when the dude was feeling bad, he was crying and everything, he would leave, and they would taunt him going out of town, man, after they stole his stuff, man. And there was a man from the country of Elam, who was leisurely going on the road, seated upon his ass, which carried a fine mantle of diverse colors. And the mantle was bound with a cord upon the ass. This was a very nice blanket. And the man was on his journey, passing through the street of Sodom, when the sun set in the evening. And he remained there in order to abide during the night. But no one would let him into his house. And at that time there was in Sodom a wicked and mischievous man, one skillful to do evil, and his name was Hadad, another African Hamite, freaking wicked bastard. You ever heard the saying, "Don't be caught in such and such town when the sun goes down"? Well, that derived right here from faggot Sodom and Gomorrah and all those towns that surrounded it. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the traveler in the street of the city. And he came to him and said, "Whence comest thou, and whither doest thou go?" Say, this dude Hadad, man. And the man said to him, "I am traveling from Hebron to Elam, where I belong. And as I passed, the sun set, and no one would suffer me to enter his house, though I had bread and water, and also straw and provender for my ass, and am short of nothing." So he has everything that he needs. Now he's just looking to lodge somewhere, as was in tradition to do, custom to do, when someone is traveling throughout towns. You know, they didn't have cars and stuff then, man. They had donkeys and that. You know, it took a little bit of time to go through those things, you know. So the people supposed to love each other and do according to mankind and help each other out. That's what Yehoshua said. Love one another, man. You're talking about Hebrews, but you're talking about mankind in itself. Love one another. You're supposed to love your enemies. And Hadad answered and said to him, "All that thou shalt want shall be supplied by me, but in the street thou shalt not abide all night." Okay, so this guy looks like he's, has good intentions, but remember, there's already been a preface to this, that he was very skilled in doing evil. And Hadad brought him to his house, and he took off the mantle from the ass with the cord, and brought them to his house, and he gave the ass straw and provender, which the traveler ate and drank in Hadad's house, and he abode there that night. And in the morning the traveler rose up early to continue his journey. When Hadad said to him, "Wait, comfort thy heart with a morsel of bread, and then go." And the man did so, and he remained with him, and they both ate and drank together during the day when the man rose up to go. So see, the man's intention was just to be on his way, do his business, lodge, and go on. Hadad was like, "Come on, eat with me a little bit more, drink." So Hadad, I guess he didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable, didn't want to, make him feel bad, so he went on ahead and did it. And Hadad said to him, "Behold, now the day is declining. Thou hadst better remain all night, that thy heart may be comforted." And he pressed him, so that he tarried there all night. And on the second day he rose up early to go away. When Hadad pressed him, saying, "Comfort thy heart with a morsel of bread, and then go." And he remained and ate with him also the second day, and then the man rose up to continue his journey. And Hadad said to him, "Behold, now the day is declining. Remain with me to comfort thy heart, and in the morning rise up early and go thy way." And the man would not remain, but rose and saddled his ass. And whilst he was saddling his ass, the wife of Hadad said to her husband, "Behold, this man has remained with us for 2 days eating and drinking, and he has given us nothing. And now shall he go away from us without giving anything?" And Hadad said to her, "Be silent." So this woman, they just knew, and the women were, and these Hamite women were just as wicked. They were just as wicked. They just doing what they Hamite husbands are telling them to do. And the man saddled his ass to go, and he asked Hadad to give him the cord and mantle to tie it upon the ass. And Hadad said to him, "What sayest thou?" And he said to them, that thou, my lord, shall give me the cord and the mantle made with diverse colors, which thou didst conceal with thee in thy house to take care of it. And Hadad answered the man, saying, "This is the interpretation of thy dream. The cord which thou didst see means that thy life will be lifted out like a cord. And having seen the mantle colored with all sorts of colors, means that thou shalt have a vineyard in which thou wilt plant trees of all fruits." And the traveler answered, saying, "Not so, my lord, for I was awake when I gave thee the cord, and also a mantle woven with different colors. which thou didst take off the ass to put them by for me? And Hadad answered and said, Surely I have told thee the interpretation of thy dream, and it is a good dream, and this is the interpretation thereof. Now see, what kind of lunacy is this that this damn Hamite is doing right here? He's trying to say that this man came into this city and he dreamed of giving him this cord and this blanket of colors, and he tried to give him this bullcrap interpretation that, you know, your life is going to be drawn out, and I'm giving you an interpretation that your life is going to be good. Now the sons of men give me 4 pieces of silver, which is my charge for interpreting dreams, and of thee only I require 3 pieces of silver. And the man was provoked at the words of Hadad, and he cried bitterly. And he brought Hadad to Shirach, judge of Sodom, this freaking queer, faggot, homosexual judge. And the man laid his cause before Shirach the judge. When Hadad replied, saying, It is not so, but thus the matter stands. And the judge said to the traveler, This man Hadad telleth thee truth, for he is famed in the cities for the accurate interpretation of dreams. So it is a faggot judge. And the man cried at the word of the judge, and he said, Not so, my lord. For it was in the day that I gave him the cord and mantle which was upon the ass, in order to put them by in his house. And they both disputed before the judge, the one saying, Thus the matter was, and the other declaring otherwise. So they were disputing among one another. And this guy didn't have a chance in the world against this freaking faggot homo Hamite. And Hadad said to the man, Give me 4 pieces of silver, that I charge for my interpretation of dreams. I will not make any allowance, and give me the expense of the 4 meals that thou didst eat in my house. And 4 meals. Remember, the guy wanted to just stay for 1 day. So this evil, conniving Hadad kept on those extra days for wanting to get more money, to steal from him. And now he's just being conniving as hell, man. And Hadad replied for the judge and said to the man, Did I not tell thee the interpretation of thy dream? The cord means that thy days shall be prolonged like a cord, and the mantle that thou would have a vineyard in which thou would plant all kinds of fruit trees. This is the proper interpretation of thy dream. Now give me the 4 pieces of silver that I require as compensation, for I will make thee no allowance. And the man cried at the words of Hadad, and they both quarreled before the judge. And the judge gave orders to his servants, who drove them rashly from the house. And they went away quarreling from the judge. When the people of Sodom heard them, and they gathered about them, and they exclaimed against the stranger, and they drove him rashly from the city. So this guy didn't have a chance. He was in the midst of all these faggots and all these conniving, wicked people. And all the people gonna gather around this guy, this stranger, and he drove him away. Pretty much took his goods and everything. I guarantee that. And the man continued his journey upon his ass with bitterness of soul, lamenting and weeping. And when he was going along, he wept at what had happened to him in the corrupt city of Sodom. So when people go around saying, how could the Most High destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? How could he do that? Well, because they were faggots, and they was conniving, and deserved to be freaking destroyed. That's why. All right, now we go to chapter 19. I might have to do 2 videos on this, man. Yeah, I'll do 2 videos on this. All right. So that was Jasher chapter 18. And look, man, it gets worse than this. Trust me, it gets worse. That was just 1 or 2 things they was doing, man. Their customs and practices were messed up. As we can see, they were white. Here's some things Sodomites were doing. They were wife swapping. We already know they were faggots, you know, because we already know the story. They tried to rape the damn Malaks the Malakim that came to their city to try to rape them. And then they was conniving, you know, they was thieves. Like the whole town was thieves. You know, and as we can see, if you try to quarrel against these faggots, they will all come up against you and drive you out the city with nothing, you know what I'm saying? And nobody was doing anything about it, you know what I'm saying? So, but you know what? The Most High sees everything. And you already know how the story gonna end. You're gonna blow their ass to smithereens. And then these faggots today got the nerve to use the rainbow as they damn symbol when that's a damn covenant given to us after the damn flood happened. And they're gonna use this faggot symbol, use their that symbol as a faggotry symbol. That should burn you up, man. Being a spiritual person, that should burn you up. All right, man. It's your boy. Y'all's chosen one, man. You are too. In life, man, you don't have to accept everything, man. You can be a soldier, y'all. You can take a stand. Do what's right in the sight of Yah, man. He'll reward you, even in the midst of adversity. All right, shalom.